Mr. Speaker, our intelligence agencies have warned that China is attempting to recruit and cultivate individuals with access to sensitive information about Parliament and the UK government. MI5 have stated that this activity is being carried out by a group of Chinese intelligence officers, often masked through the use of cover companies or external headhunters. It is not just parliamentarians who should be concerned by this. Parliamentary staff, economists, think tank employees, geopolitical consultants and government officials have all been targeted for their networks and access to politicians. Mr. Speaker, earlier today, MI5 issued an espionage alert to members of this House, members of the other place and parliamentary staff to warn them about ongoing targeting of our democratic institutions by Chinese actors. Before I set out the threat and what we're doing to meet it, let me thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your support in issuing the alert and your tireless efforts to safeguard the security of this place and the people who serve within it. I encourage all parliamentary colleagues to read the alert and to get in touch with the Parliamentary Security Department if they have any immediate concerns. Now, Mr. Speaker, our intelligence agencies have warned that China is attempting to recruit and cultivate individuals with access to sensitive information about Parliament and the UK government. MI5 have stated that this activity is being carried out by a group of Chinese intelligence officers, often masked through the use of cover companies or external headhunters. It is not just parliamentarians who should be concerned by this. Parliamentary staff, economists, think tank employees, geopolitical consultants and government officials have all been targeted for their networks and access to politicians. I urge all parliamentarians and their staff to be wary that China has a low threshold for what information is considered to be of value and will gather individual pieces of information to build a wider picture. Let me speak plainly. This activity involves a covert and calculated attempt by a foreign power to interfere with our sovereign affairs in favour of its own interests, and this government will not tolerate it. It builds on a pattern of activity that we've seen from China, with cyber operations by China state-affiliated actors targeting parliamentary emails in 2021, and attempted foreign interference activity by Christine Lee in 2022, and other more recent cases. We will take all necessary measures to protect our national interests, our citizens and our democratic way of life, including working with our allies and partners. Mr. Speaker, the world has changed a great deal since I first stepped forward to serve our country almost 30 years ago. And while some things have changed, some things remain the same. And in the various roles I've held since then, I've always believed in the importance of being clear-eyed about the nature of the threats that we face and the need to ensure that the tools we use to respond to those threats are kept up to date. This government's first duty is to protect our national security, and we will not hesitate to hold all state actors to account. On the 6th of November, my right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, spoke with her Chinese counterpart, Director Wang Yi. She was clear with the Foreign Minister that any activity that threatens UK national security, particularly in relation to the UK's Parliament and democracy, will not be tolerated. And today, I'm setting out a comprehensive package of measures we are taking to disrupt and deter the threats posed by China, as well as by wider state actors. Supported by ministers from across government and coordinated by myself, we are launching a counter-political interference and espionage action plan. Mr. Speaker, I will set out in detail to the House what that plan will entail. First, we will strengthen the legislative tools available to government to disrupt the threat. We will introduce the Elections Bill, which will include proposed measures to safeguard against covert political funding. This will include tougher risk assessment rules for donor recipients and enhanced enforcement powers for the Electoral Commission. And I can confirm we are also working on new powers to counter foreign interference, including a prescription-type tool to disrupt proxy organisations undermining our security and an extension to maximum penalties for election interference offences. Second, we're launching a series of protective security campaigns coordinated through the Defending Democracy Task Force, working with the parliamentary security authorities. These will help all those who work in politics to recognise, resist and report suspicious state threat activity. Building on the guidance that was launched by the National Protective Security Authority in October, this will include tailored security briefings for the devolved governments and for political parties via the Parliamentary Parties Panel by the end of this year, as well as new security guidance in January for all candidates taking part in devolved and local elections in May. Third, we are building a campaign that uses all levers at the disposal of this government to degrade the ecosystem of proxy cover companies, organisations and individuals that are being used by foreign states to facilitate interference and espionage, targeting our democratic institutions. The National Protective Security Authority, building on their Think Before You Link campaign, will be strengthening their engagement with professional networking sites to make them a more hostile operating environment for foreign agents. Now, Mr. Speaker, as the Security Minister, I am privileged to see the diligence of the security services, law enforcement and civil servants who work tirelessly to keep the UK safe day and night. Noting China's low threshold for information gathering, this government is providing the resources needed to protect our national interest. So, I can announce that the government has committed to investing £170 million to renew the sovereign encrypted technology our officials use to do their vital work. This programme of work will help to ensure sensitive diplomatic, economic, trade, security, law enforcement and policy development arrangements are safeguarded from espionage by any state threat actor. I can also announce that this government has completed the removal of surveillance equipment manufactured by companies subject to the National Intelligence Law of the People's Republic of China from all sensitive sites we maintain in the UK and around the world. Moreover, we will invest £130 million next year through the Integrated Security Fund to build the UK's resilience against threats posed by states such as China. Among other projects, this investment will build counter-terrorism policing's ability to enforce the National Security Act and fund the National Cyber Security Centre and National Protective Security Authority's work supporting our most critical businesses to protect their intellectual property. Indeed, the National Protective Security Authority's work is an important reminder that China doesn't just pose threats to our democratic institutions, but also to other sectors. Let me talk briefly about two other sectors in particular. First, education. Education is one of the UK's most important global assets, and that is in part due to the UK's steadfast commitment to academic freedom and excellence. There is value for the UK in engagement with China on education. However, operating in today's uncertain international context presents many challenges for our great universities. It is because of their excellence that states like China are attempting to influence their independent research and interfere with activity on campus. Ministers have already raised our concerns about this activity with their counterparts in Beijing, and the Office for Students has recently issued new guidance to help universities protect the freedoms their staff and students enjoy. But as part of our ongoing commitment to work collectively to address these risks, I can announce that ministers will host a closed event with Vice-Chancellors to discuss the risks posed by foreign interference and signpost our plans to further increase the sector's resilience. Second, advanced manufacturing. The Department for Business and Trade is working to strengthen and scale our new Economic Security Advisory Service to help businesses navigate economic security issues like espionage and intellectual property theft. The service is already engaging businesses in the advanced manufacturing sector and, as it matures, to support other sectors of the economy. It will provide a new digital offer and assist businesses with complex economic security cases navigating HMG support. Mr. Speaker, in October, I told the House that this government remains steadfast in our commitment to disrupting and holding state actors accountable for wide-scale cyber espionage operations, and we stand ready to go further, to disrupt, degrade and protect against the dangerous and unrestrained offensive cyber ecosystem that China has allowed to take hold. Earlier this year, the NCSC, with international allies, called out 3 technology companies based in China with a global malicious cyber campaign targeting critical networks. And just last week, we introduced the Cybersecurity and Resilience Bill that will help to make critical sectors of the economy and the public sector a harder target from cyber attacks, including malicious cyber activity emanating from China's territory. The government will continue to take further action against China-based actors involved in malicious cyber activity against the UK and our allies. This will form part of a broader campaign that the UK is delivering to disrupt and degrade the dangerous cyber ecosystem that China has allowed to take hold within its territory. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me assure honourable members that we will not shy away from using all the tools at our disposal, including sanctions, as necessary. Mr. Speaker, our country has a long and proud history as a seafaring nation, trading around the world with those countries that share our way of life and with those that do not. China is the world's second largest economy, and together with Hong Kong is the UK's 3rd largest trading partner. It's in our long-term strategic interest to continue to engage with China. We must cooperate on areas where our interests align: climate, global health, trade, scientific research, illegal migration and serious organised crime, to name just a few areas. But we will always challenge any country, including China, that attempts to interfere, influence or undermine the integrity of our democratic institutions, and we will take all necessary measures to protect UK national security. That is why we have taken the action today, and I am clear that further steps can and absolutely will be taken, disrupting and deterring China's espionage activity wherever it takes place, updating our security powers to keep pace with the threat, helping those who work in politics to recognise, resist and report the threat, and working with partners across the economy to strengthen their security against the threat. Mr. Speaker, our strategy is not just to cooperate. We will engage China where necessary, but we will always act to defend our interests and challenge where our values are threatened.
Thank you to the Minister for advance sight of his statement and for his time last week. But the revelations today are no surprise. They are the latest in an ever-growing list of actions by the Chinese Communist Party interfering in our sovereign affairs and trying to undermine our democracy and our country. The pernicious nature of this threat should not be underestimated, and I welcome the Minister's plans for a new prescription tool to counter foreign interference. Also, that the government has completed work we started to strip surveillance equipment manufactured in China from sensitive sites. On education, however, plans to discuss foreign interference with Vice-Chancellors is quite inadequate. I've had those discussions and face nothing but naivety and intransigence. But they are also useless unless the government is willing to use its teeth to defend those institutions under attack.